Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. We're meeting changemakers from around the country, from inside classrooms to the great outdoors. We spotlight a medical trial with unprecedented results that could be a beacon of hope for some cancer patients. And we travel to Alaska to see a remarkable restoration effort helping bison make a comeback. But first, students are heading back to class. But are there enough educators? 72% of school districts nationwide did not have enough applicants to fill their open teaching positions. Manuel Bajorquez takes a look at the issue and some potential solutions.
At Espiritu Charter School System in Phoenix, Arizona, finding enough teachers for their 1,000 students has been a challenge, says CEO Armando Ruiz.
Right now, you can't hire enough teachers in Arizona. You're going to have to go out there and find teachers wherever they are, in whatever part of the world that they may be.
And that's exactly what they do, hiring a third of the charter system's teachers from abroad.
The leaders control your teams and let's start reading.
Like language arts teacher Sandra Caicedo, who is from Bogota, Colombia.
And you're enjoying it?
Yes.
Do you think the students also are getting something out of it?
I hope with all my heart. They have a lot of curiosities about teachers that come from other places.
Still, the need here underscores a growing problem for the nation's schools. Not enough teachers. Nationally, there are more than 280,000 fewer public school teachers than before the pandemic. Arizona has more than 2,200 teacher vacancies. In Illinois, 88% of school districts surveyed have a shortage. Florida has about 8,000 empty spots. The state's governor recently put out a call to military veterans to apply to teach.
Our veterans have a wealth of knowledge and experience they can bring to bear in the classroom.
A new state law allows those who served for 4 years to fill K-12 teaching jobs even without a bachelor's degree. But some see the nation's teacher shortfall as less of a shortage and more of a failure to improve salaries and working conditions.
We put in an expansion request.
Jason Hammond is president of International Alliance Group, an organization that helps place teachers from abroad in U.S. schools through a J-1 visa.
The pandemic has exacerbated the current situation and that shortage. There's many contributing factors to that. Of course, teachers continue to be lower paid than other professionals with the same amount of education and responsibility levels.
And while he believes the cultural exchange is a benefit to schools that use it, it's not meant to be a remedy for the problem altogether. And the visas are only good for 3 to 5 years.
Oh, I like that.
Which is why Manalyn Narca, a chemistry teacher in Osceola Public Schools in Florida, is entering her final year here before returning to the Philippines.
I'm so thankful, even if it's a short-term stay, but I'm so thankful to be exposed to the broad American culture and society and be able to bring with me my own background from the country where I came from. It's been great.
We stay in the classroom for this next story as we take a look at how families are shifting their spending habits on school supplies due to high inflation. Here's Adriana Diaz.
This is back to school excitement, and these Chicago kids are getting free school supplies to get ready. The nonprofit Back to School America gave out more than 8,000 supply kits Wednesday.
People are telling me that they've lost their jobs, their home situation changed, they've lost their home.
CEO Matt Kurtzman says the need for the kits and the cost to create them has never been greater.
What single product has gone up most in price?
Paper is the one product that is costing us the most money.
That's one reason their price for supplies has jumped 10%.
The prices have increased ridiculously.
Janila Costing, whose daughter's about to start first grade, says there's also sticker shock in stores.
For a few school supplies, you're easily going to spend around $70 or something.
Is this the most expensive back-to-school season you've seen?
It is for the parents and the teachers.
Kelly Zuiza owns The Classmate, a school supply store, and she says she can barely keep up with price hikes from suppliers.
It's hard because a lot of the companies have increased their prices alone in this calendar year 5 times.
Why are things like paper more expensive?
What's happening is through the pandemic, they shut down a lot of the mills, and so now there's a shortage.
If parents choose to go to one big store without the planning first, I think they're leaving enough money on the table for it to matter.
Kelly Glass writes about parenting for the website Kindred by Parents.
Should parents be getting in the car and going back to school shopping in person, or should they be ordering things online that then get shipped to them?
A mixture of both, right? I do what I call pre-shopping online, seeing what deals the stores have, but also checking inventory, because what we don't want to be doing is hopping around from store to store.
And wasting that gas money.
And wasting that gas because it's expensive.
She also suggests checking apps that offer coupons or cash back on purchases and considering generic brands.
Also, be strategic. Maybe there's a backpack brand that costs more than other brands, but it comes with a lifetime guarantee.
Another idea, connecting with nonprofits that might be giving away supplies.
How much does getting free supplies help, especially at a time like this?
It helps a lot, especially because there's other things I could be paying for.
What do you think about your supplies?
I like them.
And how excited are you to start first grade?
I'm very excited.
Coming up, an inspiring breakthrough in cancer research. This is Eye on America. A recent immunotherapy trial for a certain type of rectal cancer reported an astonishing 100% success rate. Dr. John LaPook explains how it works and how it could be used as a model to treat other cancers.
I'll race you!
After a 3-year struggle, Kelly Spill finally has the wind at her back. Enjoying her marriage, 3-year-old son, and life at the Jersey Shore.
When did you start to notice that something wasn't quite right?
About a month before I had my little guy, Jace, and I was going to the bathroom. I would see blood, and I went to my doctor, and she pretty much said, you know, you're about to have a baby in a month. Things are moving around, and this is kind of what goes on.
But rectal bleeding continued for months after Spill gave birth. Both her obstetrician and internist told her she probably had hemorrhoids.
And I had a gut feeling that it was going to be cancer. I just knew.
A colonoscopy confirmed Spill's instincts, and a specialist told her and her mother what to expect next.
And he let us know that, yes, I had colorectal cancer, and he told me that I most likely wouldn't be able to carry another child again. Having to go through chemo, radiation, surgery, pretty much it would all be fried up down here.
Can you give me a hug?
But there was a long shot chance of avoiding all that. Researchers at Memorial Sloan Kettering tested her tumor for a genetic mutation that only occurs in about 5 to 10% of people with her type of early-stage rectal cancer.
Wow, good job.
She was a match and eligible for an experimental treatment.
It sounded a lot better than chemo. I just thought, just what if that works?
Here's how this treatment works. Some cancer cells can put the brakes on our immune system, allowing a tumor to grow. This experimental immunotherapy is an antibody that releases those brakes so the immune cells can attack the cancer. Dr. Andrea Sursek led the trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Now we're going to look at Kelly.
Before she started treatment, and that's all tumor.
She had that big, bulky tumor.
This is now.
It's hard not to say wow.
It's hard not to say wow, I know.
Because it's a wow.
Yeah, it really is. We weren't truly expecting this type of response where every single patient, the tumor's gone, completely gone, and how quickly, especially how quickly they responded. We haven't had to radiate anyone or do surgery for any of our patients.
In the trial, all 18 patients had complete resolution of their early rectal cancer. Imtiaz Hussein is one of them. At age 26, even younger than Kelly Spill, he had similar symptoms and quickly got a colonoscopy.
I think that after 4 days, I got an email saying that I was diagnosed with cancer.
You got the diagnosis of cancer via an email?
Yes. And
what was that like?
It just shook me to core of my, myself.
Like Spill, Hussein was eligible for the trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Keeping his diagnosis from his family back in Pakistan, he traveled from Virginia to New York City every 3 weeks for treatment.
But there were fewer than 10 people in the entire planet who had ever had it at that time, right?
I did not think about that at the beginning. After 4th treatment, I was barely having any symptoms. I got a call from my research coordinator, and she said, you don't have cancer anymore. I was crying in my car. So many similarities between our stories. It's just relief. Like you seeing a son after like a year, it's like kind of feeling.
I'm slowly realizing what I went through, how hard it was, and how it's like the rainbow is here.
The rainbow.
I got you. Oh,
I see you. We're finding our gold now, and we need it. It's time.
good job, dude.
Now to a cyber threat targeting restaurants all around the country. Scammers say they'll post phony reviews unless a restaurant pays up. Janet Shamlian met the owners of a Houston restaurant trying to save their American dream.
Scams are everywhere, on your phones, in your emails, and one scam could actually be influencing where you choose to eat. The target, restaurants that rely on customer reviews, and that's almost all of them. The swindle, demand a ransom, forcing restaurants to pay up or face a barrage of bad reviews.
Thank you for calling Blue Door. How may I help you?
Houston restaurant Blue Dorn is often mentioned as one of the city's best. But you wouldn't know it by some of the one-star reviews posted recently on Google.
Hey Jeff, where are these from?
Co-owner and chef Aaron Blue Dorn says they all appeared at the same time.
When you first saw those negative reviews, what did you think?
I was heartbroken that someone was, taking something that we've worked so hard for, which were, plenty of 4-star, 5-star reviews and a good rating on Google, and they knocked us down.
Blue Dorn and co-owner Sharif Mooch
Most of them are.
say before this, they rarely received negative feedback.
How concerned were you?
Very concerned. A reputation for a restaurant is everything.
They learned the reviews were part of a scam after the restaurant says it received an untraceable email asking for a $75 Google Play gift card to have them taken down.
Did you ever consider paying the, quote, ransom or the gift card?
I didn't consider ever paying that ransom, because to me that meant that they would have, won and been able to, I also didn't know where it would end.
The note said in part, negative feedback about your establishment has been left by us and will appear in the future, 1 review a day.
Restaurants across the country are reporting similar extortion threats. First, a barrage of bad reviews, then a request for money in the form of a gift card to stop them.
Anyone that thinks that they can put these bad reviews on and see if they can do a little shakedown of restaurants need to realize that they're committing a crime.
Michelle Korsmo of the National Restaurant Association says federal agents are now investigating the cyber criminals. She encourages more awareness among diners.
Consumers should really read reviews with a critical eye to see if they make sense with what others have said about the restaurant. Don't let a swindler scam you out of a great restaurant experience.
Blue Dorn says it reached out to Google, which initially said the 1-star reviews didn't violate policy because there were no comments included. The restaurant then posted the blackmail attempt on its social media to explain what happened, and was overwhelmed when more than 100 customers submitted their own Google reviews.
Owning a small business, I decided to go write a review because reviews are so very important to getting everyday customers new to come in.
A Google spokesperson tells CBS News the company's teams are working around the clock to thwart these attacks, remove fraudulent reviews, and put protections on business profiles that may have been affected. And later, Google did, in fact, remove the reviews, both the bad ones and the good ones.
It seems the way Google fixed it was they looked at the range of which this incident had occurred and just took out all the reviews. So the 1-star reviews, along with all the hundreds of good reviews that we've accumulated over a period of time.
Blue Dorn says it never lost customers, but it happened at a challenging time.
It's not only, are we dealing with inflation and less guest demand, but we're also dealing with it on our side with inflation, and we can't really raise our prices because we want to stay competitive. So every guest counts right now.
Battling bogus ratings as a restaurant defends its reputation.
After the break, we'll see how North America's largest land mammal is coming back from the brink. We now take you to the wilderness of Alaska, where wood bison were once thought to be extinct. Jeff Glora sees firsthand a thrilling restoration effort prompting their comeback.
And so this field over here is their winter pasture, but during the summer we do rotational grazing.
From a distance, they look just like prairie bison, that quintessential symbol of the American West. But get a little closer, and you realize wood bison are the supersized version.
I often relate these guys to North America's version of the elephant.
Sarah Howard runs the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center.
The social hierarchies and the behaviors that they display, they're a lot like an elephant in that way. It's just really cool to be in the presence of a bison.
For as long as we know, wood bison roam the plains of North America. The indigenous Athabascan people of Alaska relied on them for food and shelter for more than 10,000 years. Until in the late 1800s and early 1900s, the wood bison disappeared. They were thought to be extinct. About 65 years ago, a small herd was found in a remote section of northern Canada. From that batch, the wood bison reintroduction program was eventually born.
These guys being grazers, Alaska doesn't have any grazers. We think about moose, and moose are actually browsers. That means they eat woody vegetation. They're not on the ground eating all the grasses and sedges. So having a bison back out there just creates a healthier environment. It creates a healthier ecosystem from animals the size of bison all the way down to the voles and the mice.
5 new calves have been born this spring to go along with 2021's yearlings.
What's this one's name?
This is, I think, 307. 307 is last year's baby. Pretty sure 307 is Sapphire.
Sapphire.
Yeah, we had gemstones last year.
Do you like the food? It looks like
He's
you do.
thinking of,
Oh, jeez.
We're getting aggressive with
wow.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. You don't need to be pawing the ground at us. I gave you that cube in a nice manner.
Don't look at me like that. I'm here to feed you.
I so much enjoy the show.
Oh, wonderful.
It's so educational.
Sarah Howard has become a bit of a celebrity in recent years following the debut of the reality show Alaska Animal Rescue, which highlighted the work she and her colleagues are doing.
I'll give her a couple tries, and if she doesn't take it, then I'll have to call the vet and see what she wants us to do.
The Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center provides safe habitats for everything from caribou to wolves to bears. But today, the unquestioned star is the wood bison, the focus of not just a rescue, but a complete revival.
So this is that first-time mom, and that's her first baby, and that baby's only 3 weeks old.
I lived here every day and stayed with the bison every day to prepare them for transport into the wild.
Darren Bruning is a biologist with the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. He's been working on this program since its inception. 16 years ago, they built a sanctuary here where wood bison could successfully breed in captivity. By 2015, the first herd of more than 100 bison were successfully released in the wild, 330 miles northwest of Anchorage, using a C-130 plane.
How do you transport a 2,000-pound grumpy wood bison?
One step at a time, with a lot of patience and taking it very slowly.
Why is it so important now that wood bison are back?
It's a grand opportunity for restoration of a missing piece of our incredible landscape.
Since being reintroduced, wood bison have had their challenges, including 2 especially brutal winters. But the program continues working away, and to have them back at all is something almost no one imagined just a generation ago.
What does all this mean for you personally?
I truly can't believe I get to be part of this. It is an amazing, it's a dream come true for me.
We end our show from a field of dreams. Scott McFarland introduces us to a special group of ball players swinging hard and breaking barriers.
How far can you throw it? Throw it! Ethan Briner wants to be a catcher, just like his big brother.
Oh, that is a wide curveball.
They're already working on Ethan's home run celebration. Briner's family lives near York, Pennsylvania, and was among the first to arrive when the York Revolution minor league baseball team donated their field for the day to a nonprofit called Beautiful Lives Project, which is traveling America this year, staging games for people with disabilities.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm awesome.
For adults and children who say they are often left out when local towns and communities organize sports leagues and events. Carter Hutchinson was born 16 weeks premature with cerebral palsy. His mom says Carter suffers chronic pain and breathing struggles, but always has a sparkle in his eye when he talks baseball.
I can't imagine not having baseball. I love it so much. It brings us so much joy.
Carter's also an encyclopedia of the sport who knows every batting average, home run total, and World Series champ since the 1970s.
Who won the World Series in 2000?
The Yankees.
How about in 1990?
The Reds.
From town to town, Beautiful Lives Project finds and invites the local kids and adults with disabilities to play. And it's often the local minor league ball players and coaches leading the drills.
These events were dreamt up and organized by a young man who now brings them all across the country in the summer. A man who's also seizing his own opportunity inside the press box.
Thank you for coming out.
Bryce Weiler of Illinois, who's put together 20 stops this year from Boston to Minneapolis to here in York. Bryce is blind and discovered few people think to organize events like this, so he doesn't.
They're able to see how important it is to surround yourself with people and friends who believe in you.
And Weiler's not stopping there.
Wants to get it over into the zone and not put another runner on base.
He's begun broadcasting, calling nearly 150 games so far. It's an effort to break more boundaries, he says. Wow! As for his nonprofit, it's a bigger hit than he imagined. 61 people showed up for this event in York, who at no cost enjoyed the day of their lives, and where Ethan had a chance to emulate and bond with his hero, big brother Dustin.
He takes good care of me, and I love him all my life. Bring me cheers.
Just a grand slam.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Michelle Miller. Thank you for watching Eye on America.